of his word.
Amen.
This is more important.
Amen.
It's more important.
Amen.
More important. Watch this. Now, when he said that, he came to Jerusalem, and this was not his first time in Jerusalem, but this was his mark where he was about to die. So he went into the temple and he surveyed the activities of the temple. Watch this. And in surveying the activities of the temple, he realized that the temple had become a money-marketing, money-making entity and not for the true worship of God.
Amen.
They had people with their fingers on the scale, but that what money changes mean. You know, you can't buy that turtle dove with that denarius. You got to have something else. So I'm gonna take the denarius off your hand, but I'll pay you 5 cents less than what it's worth. And then you buy the turtle doves with the money I'm gonna give you. That's stealing. Jesus observed how. Watch this. Watch this. You really need to get my book on how to prosper.
Come on now.
Oh, you really need to buy this DVD of the Worship Today, and it'll bless your soul. Oh, you need to register right now for our women's conference and our miracle conference, and buy my miracle water, and I got a piece of the cross that Jesus was hung on, and if you lay it across your body, it'll heal you.
Yes, Lord.
I heard Paul tell Timothy, preach the word.
Yes.
But now we come in the business of selling the word.
All right now.
We are taking money from the sheep. Because all we want to do is sell. Y'all watch the word. I watch the word network sometimes just to see the foolishness. You get 5-10 minutes of them saying something, and the next 25 minutes they're trying to sell you something. It's an infomercial. And when Jesus saw these type of activities going on inside the temple that he designed, that he should say set up, he threw over the tables. Now, some people would surmise that Jesus was violent because he did that. Well, sometimes you got to do things out of the ordinary to get people's attention.
Amen.
You have to do things to let them know that you're not playing with them, that God is serious about worship and serious about doing his will, because there are deadly consequences of not producing when God has planted you in good soil. There is no reason not to produce when you are planted in good soil where you can draw out the nutrients to produce. You just want to look pretty, so God said curse it.
All right. All right.
You wonder why your worship is drying up. Because you only show up once a month. You wonder why your finances are drying up. Because you want to keep taking from the church but don't want to put nothing in the church. You wonder why all this is going wrong on you. You say, oh, Pastor, this cross I got to bear. And I'm telling you, you ain't bearing no cross because you don't come to church. There is no cross that you bear. You just reaping what you sow. Talking about the devil is on your heel. How the devil going to be on your heel? The only reason why he's on your heel because you're dancing with him.
All right now. Yes, Lord.
All right now.
Help us, Lord.
I'm almost finished. Look what he said. Look what he said. Then he turned around after he got their attention. And the Bible said that he taught them. Now, I like to hoop just like everybody else. But there's times I just need to teach you all.
Amen. Amen.
Come to Bible class on Wednesday, I do more hooping on Sunday. He said he taught them.
Yes.
Look what he taught.
Yes.
He did not say, I got a revelation from God.
No.
He did not say, I heard the Spirit say. He said, it is written. I keep trying to tell y'all that. If it's not from Genesis 1:1 to Revelation, then it says, amen, don't believe it.
Amen.
Don't believe it. when they questioned his authority, he said, it is written that I will do these things. When John the Baptist asked, is it you or should I look for another? And he's told John the Baptist disciple, tell John it is written of me. And see, when you come to church, you need to find out if it is written or you just think somebody told you. We say all the time.
All right.
Be careful when people say, God told me.
All right.
I'll be wondering what God you talk to. Yeah. Barters and James. Yeah, he's a God. Oh, Jack Daniels. Oh, I know Jack can talk to some of y'all a whole lot. Come on, 100 Pipers. Johnny Walker. I'm going to hear somebody. Johnny Walker Red. Come on, what you used to drink, Brother Red? Johnny Walker. Yeah, he ain't ashamed. He know God delivered him. Amen. I'm going to hit y'all Slits. Falstaff. Dixie Bill. I'm going to hit somebody sooner than Jacks. I'm going to hit somebody. In a top crown. Oh, Lord. Yeah. It'll talk to you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, it will. Yes, sir. What God talking about? What God you talking about? I don't think you got to identify who talk to you. He said, look what he said. And I tell people all the time. He said he identified the entity in which he was working in. He said with a very clear possessive word, mine. He didn't say yours. Wow. He said, my house. Now let's get it straight. Your affiliation with Mount Carmel is because you choose to worship it.
Amen.
But don't get it twisted. It ain't your house.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
I'll read it right now. He said, my house, first of all, that's the description of the place. Then he said, who should be in it? Or who should it be called by? He said, called by all nations, every people. And what it should be called? A house of prayer. Now, in order to be a house of prayer, prayer must exist there. Wait a minute now. You can't be a house of prayer if there's no prayer. Now, some have houses of programs. Some have problems with individuals. But you ought to have, you need to go to a house of prayer. Come on, now old folks said, I'm glad I came into the house of the Lord, where prayers can be heard and sure enough mercy can be found. See, you can't have anything else but what God wanted to be. You have to understand that this is his house. So we go back to what? Ecclesiastes when it says that watch your step when you walk in.
All right.
You can't walk in here any kind of way you want to because it ain't your house.
Amen.
Watch this.
Amen.
Vira, did you let anybody walk in your house any kind of way? Thank you. You're going to stop where? At the door.
Amen.
What you say about? Wow! So, how do you get the idea that you can walk in God's house any kind of way? And say what you think you ought to say and do what you think you ought to do. This ain't your house, it's God. And watch this. I'm a steward of it. And when there's a steward of the house, the steward is responsible to check you at the door.
Amen.
When they get out the call at the hotel, what you do? They just don't walk into the hotel. You got to do what? Check them in. And then when they check into the hotel room, there's a list of rules of what you can do and what you cannot do on the door. And if you mess up, they're going to charge it to your going to charge it to your account. So when you walk in here, I'm about to leave you alone. When you walk in here and then you want to act up at God